right, this is Refined Gaming, and here we have the winner of the Fabled Set Championship, Josh Stowell, and he's going to give us a deck profile. What colors did you play today?
Yeah, I played Purple Steel today, and deck ran pretty well.
Ran pretty well. All right, let's see. How do you have it built?
Okay, this is standard tempo. There's not a lot of spice in here. 1-drops. We'll start out with Diablos. We've been playing them in purple decks for forever. Draw a card, always good. Happy again. Our blue purple is our worst matchup. We need a ton of evasive help, and that's why we're playing Happy. In this one spot, it synergizes with your Dumbos, and then Steel's playing Captain Hooks to fight for board. Really good into a lot of the aggro that's here. And that's the same reason we're playing to fire the cannons, both for aggressive matchups and to ping early 1-drops before blue-purple can play a Madam Mim Elephant.
Is there any reason you're doing Captain Hook over stuff like Rafiki, who also holds deck presence pretty well?
Yeah, I like Hook just because you always naturally have the 1 damage. I think you'll play Hooks over Rafikis. You could play in the Happy spot, you could play Rafikis, you could play the 1/4 guards if you want to be more aggressive. This is kind of the balance of aggressive versus defensive that I like in the 1-drop spot. Moving on to 2s. Every Steel deck wants to play 3 or 4 Calhoun. Really good to both banish your opponent's characters and game lore simultaneously. Really good against the aggro decks. Just like Happy, we need all the anti-evasive that we can against blue-purple. And so we're playing some Jafars. These could be Smees as well, or the same card. Every Steel deck plays 4 docks, with draw being at such a premium in this small block format. We're playing 4 dock, no questions asked every time. And then the last 2-drop, these were additional Lilos at one point, but I like Skater Mim on the curve a little bit more to help get some surprise advantageous trades when we're playing any deck, really. 3-drops are critical, again, evasives. Genie looks like draft filler, but again, we need to fight Genies and Elsas. We need to sing Strength, and so it's a good card for that. Pete's not very good in the blue-purple, but Pete's really good into the mirror, into any Steel deck. Play on the draw, you get the sing Strength first, you can win those games when you're on the draw. Another on the draw card is Lilo. Again, a lot of this meta has had standstill boards where we're all staring at each other, and then they turn sideways, you play Lilo, you clear their board, you can move on and win the game. And then from the 3-drop character spot, we have Cobra. Again, just a giant body. It can get us over the finish line against blue-purple. Just a really good card in this meta. And then every Steel deck, Strength, the Raging Fire is one of the 5 strongest cards in the set. Doc is one of the 5 strongest cards in the format right now. Let's just play the really good cards. Moving on to 4-drops. Yzma probably doesn't need to be a 4 of, kind of a flex spot, but again, if we're going to beat blue-purple, we beat them by just outdrawing them. We just constantly hit them with wave over wave of characters, and Yzma does that. She also quests for 2. Again, I think of top 5 best cards in the format. You have Genies, you have Elsas. There's really no question about this. If you can't respond to these cards, you often just lose the game on the spot. To go with I said the word evasive a ton, and so we sprung for the Dumbos. We got the Dumbos, and it's a really good value draw engine to get over the finish line. And then we're a pretty aggressive deck. We're only playing 2 bells. You could play 4. It's a really good card in combination with Genie, your other Genie, anything that holds damage, swing value trades. This is 61 cards. It ran really well for me. Flex spots are maybe an Yzma, whatever your preference is in the Madam Mim, Lilo spots. And then there's a couple different 1-drops that you could play that we talked about. But in general, I like how this is running, and this is probably going to be pretty close to what I play in DLC Milwaukee in 2 weeks.
Is there anything that you would change for DLC Milwaukee?
It's just going to be, DLC Milwaukee is going to be more like figuring out what the meta is going to be. So is blue-purple going to recede, and maybe we could get rid of some of the value cards. We could go down in Yzmas and focus more on maybe we run the 4th Pete and get some more anti-steal, anti-aggro cards in here. Or if it's just going to be, hey, I have to play down the middle, then we probably stay pretty close to what we're at. So, 12 rounds of Swiss, it's going to be a grind. You just got to get some good matchups, but this feels like the deck that you can play in everything. Blue purple is definitely this deck's worst matchup. I beat it on the draw today in the finals, but my opponent had the brick in game 3. So that matchup is 40%, 45% maybe, but then everything else is 50, 55 or better. So feels like a pretty good matchup spread.
Yep. Any final things you want to say about it, or?
Love the deck. Thanks for Fine Gaming. Thank you, Jackson, for hosting a wonderful event today. And yeah, we only got a couple more weeks of this, and set time will be here, and then we'll be right back to square one, figuring out the new meta.
Yep. Congratulations again on your win, and have a good night.
Thank you.